because of the crack situation, right? So they started building up Riverside, the Inland Empire, which is about, I don't know, maybe an hour away, an hour eastward from Los Angeles. They start building up, you know, uh, Riverside, and Rialto, all these different places out in the Inland Empire. And these people would started moving their people out there to the Inland Empire, but they realized your son is the gangbanger. It's not taking you ain't taking you just taking your son who got all that gang banging in him out there, and all of y'all just took the problem with y'all out there. You see, that's what I'm saying. If you dating people and you always getting bad black men, you're just gonna go and get bad white men. But you're gonna give them more grace because in black men you can see the problems right away because you got a cultural connection. But with the Caucasians, you don't have that. You're not as culturally connected, so you won't see when things are going bad as quickly as you would with a black dude. Whoop, another one. Whoop. Let me let this dude Pablo finish, man.
So you date out Pablo, right?
That is more important to me than some collection of genes that's about 1/10 of 100% of the human gene pool.
Okay, this dude, you heard him. He just gave you a statistic that he pulled right out of his asshole. Where did he get that number from? Right? So this is how irresponsible we are as black people, man. If you're going to take numbers, you should at least be ready to cite where you get it from. You saying something real crazy like that, you better be ready to cite it. Where you got it from. See, I'm not saying nothing that hasn't been published and that's not out there. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
no, yeah. So I'm with her on the sense that she has a right to her choices, and we need to get to the place in Black America where we're not bombarding people for their choices, because you're not going to socially engineer it out in this era. Okay, so go ahead.
Who wants to socially engineer? What's he talking about socially engineer? Who wants to socially engineer? I was asking this chick a good question. She's the one that says she exclusively dates white men. I was asking her some good questions about doing that. Exclusively dating white men. I was asking her some very pertinent questions about that. Who wants to social engineer? If anything, most white guys want to social engineer. They pick women that are white because they know that white women will give them a baby that's white most of the time. Nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with that? Of course they will most of the time probably do it. 80% of the people that get in long-term relationships with same race person. That go to the what's the labor and statistics. Most people that date people in their own race. Date and marry most people in their own race. You can go to black demographics for that one as well. Right? All right, Pablo, man. The magic tricks, man. Just pulling numbers out his ass. Okay, let's see.
Okay, Courtney, can I respond to him real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, and then I'll let you next.
Okay. Now, I wasn't saying that she shouldn't date. You should date whoever you love, no matter what color they are. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay, was that clear? Was that clear enough? Was that clear enough? I said you can date whoever you want, no matter what color they are, right? But the dude still tried to play me like I'm trying to say she shouldn't date white men at all, right? All right.
She came on and said she was doing it And the primary reason that I heard her give was that she got pushed into doing it by listening to Kevin Samuels and other Manosphere people. So that led me to believe that it was being done out of spite. Now, if you really love somebody,
No, not really. White guys are hot. It's not out of spite.
Sis,
I'm sorry, babe.
I'm just
sorry.
going with the impression you gave me based on the way you started your conversation. So that led me to believe that it was being done out of spite. Okay, if you swirling out of spite, then how are you going to maintain the level, maintain that spite to help the relationship? That's where I was coming from. I don't care what color it doesn't matter to me what color you are. If you want to go date somebody that's other color, that's fine. But it shouldn't be out of spite of us. That's why you're going over there, because 1 or 2 or 3 different people talking about black women. And now that's the leap that a lot of black women make. Oh, I heard Kevin Samuels, so now all black men feel this way. Not necessarily so.
You don't feel the tension in the air when you go out in public when you see black women? We're not getting along right now. Like,
I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know where she's going, where she's got all this tension. I don't know where she's. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I see that there's places you go, people are getting along. There's places you go, people aren't getting along. I don't know. I don't know where she's going. She's obviously going places where she's not wanted, obviously. But she feels like, hey, I'm going to go do this anyway. Okay. But I don't know what she's talking about with this situation.
Like, you don't see that?
I see that, but I see that is...
You don't feel it? I feel it. It's really thick. The tension is really thick.
The tension between whom?
Between black men and black women. You don't feel it, sis? And see, you're their preference. You're light skinned. You probably don't.
Okay, this is when she tried to make Courtney feel bad. It was kind of a backhand slap, right? She tried to make Courtney feel bad because Courtney was light skinned, right? So she kind of, this girl was slick. What she did was she gave Courtney a compliment, but at the same time, she was trying to shame her for because she doesn't have to go through what conservative black women as a darker skinned sister has to go through. But she was it was a backhanded compliment. But only people with their eyes open really saw it. Okay, but I'm going to let y'all see it.
Don't get it like other black women because you're a beautiful girl. That's why I was like drawn to your channel. I was like, damn, she's hot. No homo, but I was like, what is she talking about? But yeah, you're probably you're their preference. So it's like you probably don't feel it like other women feel it. You know what I mean? Especially dark.
Now, she made a leap on that one, right? She said to herself, hey, I'm just going to assume that Courtney is living this situation. This is the situation. I'm just going to assume that this is the situation. Maybe it is not the situation. That's my point. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the situation. Huh? But she just took it upon herself to assume, hey, Courtney, you're light-skinned, so everything's all good for you. Right? You got one of those chairs like Cleopatra, right? Where dudes carry you all over the place, right? I don't know. Court, you can tell me. I don't think so, right? It's rough for all of us out here. Light skin, dark skin, whatever, right? Male, female, whatever. It's about the person on the inside, right? All right, so I'm going to move it forward. Okay, Yella. This dude Yella got with the business, man. He was with the business, so I'm gonna let y'all hear him for a minute.
All right. First, I say good evening to everybody. Good evening, Chad. Good evening, Courtney. So basically, I'm here to kind of say like, what are we showing everybody tonight, y'all? Like, okay, I get what the conversation is. Like, all right, it's a preference. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, everybody who's saying that a preference is your choice, that's your choice. But what are we showing people tonight, bro? We showing people the whackness on both sides. We ain't even talking about the people in the middle who actually trying to get it done. All we doing is focusing on the extremes. We want to focus on fresh and fit, and they dumbass rhetoric. As much as we want to focus on the divested women and they dumbass rhetoric.
It's a response. It's a response.
Yo, if we gonna call them out on both ends. Shorty, I really ain't trying to hear nothing you gotta say, because the second you want to sit up here and act like y'all ain't over there calling for the termination of black men, I really ain't even trying to hear you, Shorty. Like for real. Respond to this. Speak the truth then. Respond to this. Speak the truth. Because because your preference is one thing. Your preference can be one thing. As a black man, please date who you want, black woman. But at the same time, when you start to saying that you want to terminate black boys, that's when I look at Pablo crazy.
Okay. So Yella went in, man. Yella went in, and I keep forgetting to turn this mic off. So if y'all getting an echo, I'm sorry about that. I'll try to remember to do that. Okay, so Yella went in. And so he went all the way in, but I ain't got time to play everything that he said, because I got to get to what I was saying so I can defend myself. But anyway, yeah, man, shout out to Yella, man. Whew. And shout out to Omawale, too. Shout out to Derek. And shout out to Pablo. Shout out to Courtney. Shout out to conservative black woman. I mean, she stood tall. She stood on her square. I never heard anything from Configure Camo Studios, but it is what it is. This sister here, Catherine Forbes, yeah, man, she stood tall too. So everybody pretty much stood tall, and stood on their square. All right, but I got to get to me, so hold tight. Okay, so I'm gonna let she's gonna talk again, conservative black woman, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let Omawale get at her just for a little bit. So here we go.
I was talking about you, but I was talking about specific people that are just constantly.
Well, I understand. I see that too.
Black women. It's crazy. Yeah.
I just think that the point that I was trying to make, and I think that she validated my point, so I appreciate her being honest. The point that I was attempting to make is that the divested community, whether it be black men or black women who are divesting from the community, a lot of it is fueled by trauma, by self-hate, by feelings of neglect, and feelings of rejection. Right. She stated clearly that she's here to recruit. Right. So things that are of quality,
not me per se.
I can finish speaking.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I asked her the question, if she's divested, then why is she's here? And she said because she's for black women's empowerment, and she's here to recruit black women who may be on the fence. And my reply to that is things that are of quality don't require commercials or recruitment, right? Harvard isn't coming to your local high school to recruit students because there's a demand, right, to get into Harvard. You're not going to see a commercial for Bentleys, right? So
why does SYSBM exist?
Can I finish? Thank you. So the point that I'm trying to make, the reason why I'm saying that it's clearly rooted in self-hate, Asian women date out at a higher rate than any other group of women. But there is no movement of divested Asian women. And the reason why that is because the source of them dating out is not because they hate themselves or because it's trauma-based. So my argument is that the folks who are often in this divester movement have not healed. And I think that they want to kind of spread that pain. You know what I mean? Like, I think that when folks feel like they have kind of like an axe to grind, like that's the purpose of being here. So it's the same reason why a lot of black men do it. It's like, nan, nanny, boo, boo. We got other options in other places. So fuck you, black bitches. Right. That's kind of...
Okay. Pretty good point. Now, unfortunately, myself, Omawale, Yella, even this brother here, Derek Spina, we were dropping stuff that was heavier than this chick was able. As a representative of the divesting community, man, she was a poor representative, very poor representative of that community. Shout out to her, as you know, she tried to hold it up as much as she can, but she showed how weak the legs are up under that situation. But you know, Omowale made a good point to it, right? Hey, this is a trauma-based situation. Now she could have came back and said, "Oh, I'm not traumatized." All right, y'all. Let's get to let's finish the program.
Kind of like the energy, and my apologies for cursing court, but I'm just saying the energy is the same. It's childish energy. It's unhealed trauma, and I think that when you look at the kind of like the disfigurement that we see on the screen, I think that kind of like speaks for itself when we're talking about self-hate.
Okay. All right. So Omowale made a good point to her. Yella made a good point to her. Derek Spina made a good point. Derek Spina made a good point to her. I also think I made a couple good points, but let's move this thing along. Okay, so I hit up Courtney in the private chat and said, Courtney, I got a question. Can I go after Omowale? So she said, yeah, okay. So now she's going to let me ask my question. I had a question for Pablo and a question for conservative black woman. And so let's see how that interaction went.
Pablo?
Yeah, I have a question for not only Pablo, but conservative. I think most of us here don't have a problem with you as a black woman dating a white man. The problem that we're saying is the reason why you're dating a white man. I think that is the major issue with most of us. So my question is to Pablo or conservative black woman, do you think the reason why somebody's dating someone is important?
That was a good question, right? Remember what I said, right? If I'm helping an old lady across the street, the reason why I'm helping her across the street is important, right? Am I helping her across the street to help her get safe? Or am I helping her across the street so I can get close enough to dig in her purse and get her wallet? The reason is very important. That was what I was trying to establish, right? That was a good question, I thought. Okay, let's see what they got to say.
Do you think that not just because, I want to date a white, like if I say I want to date a white woman, but what would be my reason? I'm going to date white women just because I'm trying to show black women that I don't need them. But
I date other races of men, mainly white men, because those are the ones that really approach me. But even though I've dated Asian, I've dated Arab, I've dated Latino, I've never had a problem there. But the thing is, I date white guys because they're hot. Like, you guys just want to be told that you're the...
See, she keeps changing the goalposts, right? When she first came on, she said, I date white men because black men have said all of these different things in the manosphere, etc., right? Now she's saying, I only date them because they're hot. If she had said that from the beginning, nobody would have said nothing, right? You can have your preference how you want. But you said it had something to do with the fact that other men were talking about black women. She said that. But now she's moving the goalpost again. She's moving the football like what's that, Peppermint Patty? She's moving the football again, right? All right.
The only guys on the planet that black women are looking at. Like, black women, we have options too, and you're constantly telling us, like they always say, where's Waldo? Where's Waldo? Are you kidding me?
What is she talking about with this where's Waldo? What is she talking about? What is she talking about? I have no idea what she's talking about. But anyway, let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening.
I see black women.
Everybody wants to spend time with black women. That's not a question of whether you got.
And then you have black men saying that they're the most desired men on the planet, but then they turn around and say that black women are the most undesired. So
well, that's statistically, but that doesn't mean that's how we feel.
Personal experience.
83% of black men are married to black women. 83% of black men are married to black women.
The marriageable black men, yes. The ones that are marriageable.
Like they married to marriageable black women. You think all black women are marriageable, just like all black men are not marriageable. That's what I think the issue is with what you're doing is if you saying, I'm not going to date white. Now, see, it's a difference. If that's your preference, because that's visually your preference is white men, cool. That's the thing. But you're saying I'm going to date them because they ain't no good black men. That's the issue that we have. Because there's good black men. You just finding the bad ones. And then you extrapolate.
No, I haven't found any bad ones.
Let me say
Can I
this.
answer the second part of that question?
Hold on.
Okay, so she says she haven't found any bad ones. So how did we get to the divesting situation then? If you haven't found any bad black men, why would you want to divest? You know what I'm saying? The whole divesting issue is based on the whole premise is that there's no good black men. So how did you come to now you pushing the divesting issue? Like Omowale said, you said, hey, I'm here to recruit for the divesting community. See, but man, I'm telling you, bro, some of these women are slicker than a wet hen. They're not going to let you trap them nowhere. Not even with their own logic. They won't let you nail them down, right? So Courtney had an issue with what I was saying about the stats, right? Let's see what Courtney has to say.
You asked me as well.
Hold on 1 second, and I'll let you speak. And I want to be clear, too, because Brother Clarence, and I think a lot of people think this, too, it's not a factual thing that black women are just undesirable. It came from OkCupid back in 2014. It was a dating site that said who got the quickest response time. Black women got the slowest. Right. Black women got the slowest response time, along with Asian men. And the fastest response times were, it was white men, and the next one was Mediterranean men. The two lowest was Asian men, and it was black men. And this was just a response time. So again, this.
Okay. All right. So, we're not, now, if we're going to tell it, let's tell it all, right? So, you saying, I'm saying what I'm saying based on OkCupid. That does play a part in it. But, let me show you this. Let me show y'all this. Okay, this is a Time article. This is a Time article. It was done. When was this Time article done? October 5th, 2021, right? And as we go down the article, it talks about the likelihood of being married, right? The trend has not had an equal impact across all sectors of society. The Pew study, which uses information from the 2019 American Community Survey, notes that men are now more likely to be single than women, which was not the case 30 years ago. Black people are much more likely to be single, 59%, than any other race. Okay, this is Time, right? This ain't, Hustler magazine. This is Time, okay? And black women, 62% are the most likely. What does the word most mean? What does the word most mean? Let me look up the word most. Let me look up the word most. Because maybe I, maybe I'm looking at this thing out of pocket, man. Matter of fact, let me look it up over here. Let me look up the word most. Most. Let me look up the word most. Definition. Definition, right? Most. The definition of the word most. Let's look up the definition of the word most. Greatest in amount, quantity, or degree. Right? To the greatest extent. Okay. Now that we have done that and we have seen that, let's get back on to where we was at. Right? Let's get back to where we were at. Okay, let's get back to where we were at. Right? So now the Time magazine said black women are the most likely to be single. 62%. Right? So now that's Time. That's some other statistics. That's other statistics that back up that. But let's just do the eye math. Let's just do the visual test. We got so many black women that's single out here, right? If there was such a high demand for black women, we wouldn't have as many single ones out here, would we? I mean, that's just supply and demand, right? We got a huge supply and a low demand. If we had a high demand, then the high demand would knock out a lot of the supply. But in actuality, the supply is getting higher. I don't know if the demand is getting higher, but definitely the supply is getting higher. Why? Because a lot of women aren't staying in long-term relationships. Why? Because they can get the validation online. The validation they were getting in marriages and relationships, they can get online. There's no need to be in a marriage to get validated anymore. There's no need to be in a long-term relationship to get validated anymore. There's so many thirsty dudes out here. They'll give you a child. They'll give you child support. They'll give you alimony, palimony. They'll give you all kind of stuff. And there's so many thirsty dudes out here. Why get married and be locked down to the ways of a man that wants you to walk in his light or walk with him through and create a light for your children, right? When you can do whatever you want to do. No matter what the effect on your children is going to be by not having a man in the house, hey, you can do it, but you doing what you want to do. You go where you want to go. You do what you want to do. I don't think we're looking at this thing in the proper terms. But anyway, so I what I did, because I don't want to do this. Well, never mind. I ain't going to even say that. Shout out to Courtney. But here, I just wanted to put that out there, that I wasn't just talking about no online survey. I was talking about lots of different information. This is just one source about the single, and then we can even just take the eye test and see all these single black women out here. If the demand was that great,